basically what if I made Cabba the main character. Now, it's not really going to be him main charactering everything, but it is mainly focused on him. This is what if Cabba trained. Now, we're going to skip the whole tournament power and everything. You know, might make no sense, which we will go to it. But first, we're going to start off with Universe 6 Saiyans and Universe 7 Saiyans. Cabba met Vegeta. In this version, instead of being like the master to Vegeta, he actually, instead of wanting to be the master, he said something very different. He said, that's what Saiyans can become. A blue form is trained to the god, or an angel. And all you need is a few Saiyans to help him. And he starts thinking really good on this. And he becomes basically the GOAT of Universe 7, or Universe 6. Hold on a second. Okay, so this is one of the few pieces of art I could find that I thought was good. Because, I mean, it's hard to find a muscular Cabba. And Super Saiyan 3 just makes you buffer by fact. Anyway, we're going to start this whole thing going down once that happened. And he said, before that I have to unlock the Saiyan forms. And in this version, Vegeta got all cocky and showed off Saiyan 1, 2, 3. Even went up slowly into it. Even went into God and then even blue. That's it. For all Cabba knows, that is the limit of what they can obtain. But in this version, he actually said Vegeta said something. There's even another form called 3 that he thinks is as strong as we can become without going to Godly Key. I skipped it. Cabba thinking, well, I don't want to use the Godly Key, so I wonder what happens if I can train the Saiyan form. Now, Cabba, using basically whatever time was between the Tower of Power and the Grand Tournament, whatever it was. I always forget what it's called. But yeah, the Tower of Power and the Universe 6 and 7 tournament. Now, Cabba spent his whole time during this training to be a beast. Even occasionally training Vados, not in Godly Key, in all brute force. The point where he's unlocked Super Saiyan 1, 2, even 3 just about 3 at this point. At the edge of unlocking 3, when it's announced there will be a tournament between the universes. Cabba saying he needs to stop joking around on his training and start putting in more training with Vados. He's gotten to the point where he can actually land a hit on Vados. He has to be in Super Saiyan 2 to do it, but that's still pretty impressive. And again, I think maybe Goku could land a hit on Beast if he had gone to high power level up. They'd probably take Super Saiyan Blue, Kaioken, whatever, just to launch that punch, though. Connect eventually. But then again, Vados was not expecting it. Vados wasn't expecting the Super Saiyan 2 to land a punch on her. So she was just joking around about the training, but still training a little bit, trying to dodge a little bit. She was thinking about giving him a free punch, but she didn't get the chance before he actually got one. And after Cabba landed this punch, he said, okay, I'm going to say Cabba's trained in the staff the whole time. And he unlocked enough power to where he's equivalent to a Super Saiyan Blue. Base to base, he's stronger than anyone in Universe 7. But he doesn't have the same transformations as they do. If they're even going to have a shot at this, he needs to be more powerful. Plain and simple. But he said, yeah, doesn't have time to worry about that now. He knows in base form he's close to unlocking a new form. When he's at the edge of hitting it, the tail emerges. But when he powers back down because it's exhausting, it'll disappear. Thinking this might be what Vegeta meant by a tail, thinking it might keep him to a new power up, he was thinking. But he couldn't. He wasn't born with a tail, but maybe this would work. Champa still said, get more Saiyans out here. He goes to the same guy, and the guy says, nah, he'd just be a dead weight. Suggests killing Caulifla. And this version, when Cabba went over to Kill's thing and said, look, we need to do this whole tournament thing for the universe. And right when they're all about to try throwing him out, he powers up, not in Super Saiyan 2. He powers up into 3 and says, boom, as it looks down at the thing. Oh please, I could take the entire place out with a swing of my hand. And they hear this and basically just back up. he said this one is overkill. It was down to 2 and then down to 1 thing. This one would be overkill too, but it's all I want to use. But I might want to use it. After all, last time I was saying, stubborn as you are, I couldn't beat that person in a hand-to-hand fight. Now anyway, guys, we're gonna make this quick because I'm sorry about the whole, stuff appearing. Actually, hold on, let's do that. Okay, I'm back real quick, guys. So sorry about that. I'm gonna do something. Anyway, cabba, basically looking down, they talked to Kale and Khalifa about getting them both to join. And they actually said they will join. And he tried getting Kale. He said to Khalifa saying, "Look, if we're gonna do this and you're gonna do this, you're not able to go out and like this. What do you mean? We're saying you can use the same power I used to get you to join. Move back up. Make your goons crap their pants. That one, remember it?" Khalifa saying, "Oh, so I can power up into that and then beat you down? How come I've never been able to use it?" He said, "Well, I got really pissed off to use it. But you also feel a little bit of a tingle sensation on your back when you focus on your key there. And let it spread around you, it'll work." "Oh, please, like that'll work." And he said, "You'll know until you try." She said, "This is going to be stupid, but if I can have at least a chance of getting that power." Focus on her key there, it didn't even work. The first or second time. And she said, "You idiot." Getting obnoxiously mad for no reason, then going into Super Saiyan with rage and punched him dead in the mouth. Cabba hadn't even left base form at this point, looks at her saying, "Good. Now let's work on you being able to go into it at will and fight with it." Wait, what? As he powers up into Super Saiyan and then just slings one punch, sending her through a mountain. And she said, "Yay," and then after not even a few seconds of training, after about an hour and a half of training, Cabba and Kale and Khalifa seemed to get all buddy-buddy. This made Kale angry that she thought she was losing her sister. Well, not even, sister in this version. And then, first thing Kale thinks is, "I will end him." And then, boom, you see the buff-ass giant Super Saiyan form she's in. It's like, in canon, this scared the crap out of Cabba and overwhelmed him. In this version, he turns his head from base. He basically walks up on this and threw punches in base form with this. Noting it was stronger than he expected, so he powers up, going into 2. And this actually was enough to throw hands with her, but not enough to beat her. So he threw 3. And even in Super Saiyan 3, he was struggling a little bit. But he said that in Super Saiyan 3, it was like fighting on an equal level. Like, basically a better field. Even he had the advantage in 3. Even being able to overwhelm her, and even being able to beat her down to the ground. No killing, just hurting. Now, in this point, Khalifa herself can't see their movements since they're too fast. So she powers up the Super Saiyan to even be able to see them. And she does. She actually wound up jumping in and trying and hugging Kale to get her to stop. And basically trying to kick Cabba away. Hitting him in the stomach. And he actually said this. These very words I'm going to use. He didn't, I don't think he said it in canon, but he says, "Good, now that you two both have a Super Saiyan form, even if one of them is more of a berserk beast of a form, makes it better. Let's start training." And a smirk appeared on his face. I got terrified, because Kale couldn't win that fight. Khalifa hasn't even been able to land a punch in the last 2 hours that they had been training. Kale barely even landed a single shot to his mouth. Noting that if he didn't want to get hit, he would just move out of the way. He's fast to do that. And a little bit of time before the whole tournament, a very big difference happens. The entirety of the universe happens crazily different. He said, "Hit basically getting Vados to get hit for it. And he actually had a deal. Made a deal with them. Saying, talking to Hit, saying, hey Hit, I need to train with you. You're the only one I think I can turn to for this. Alright? And they trained, like, to a point where Cabba could even keep up slightly with the time skip. But, like, with the time powers Hit has, he actually unlocked a version of Super Saiyan 4, but he said he can only use it for like a minute or two. And that would be full on knocking him out after it. But he never said this would knock. They never said collapsing would knock you out of the tournament power. It's someone knocking you out that will. Like someone sending you out of the ring, you're done. So he'll need at least someone to he'd either need someone to watch his back or not use the form. So he has the idea. He will only use the form in case if he needs to have to deal with this Universe 7 Saiyans or that legendary myth that's there. And the myth is Jiren, that like he's stronger than the God of Destruction. That was the myth. And when you hear that myth, you're crazily terrified. He said, if there's someone even stronger than Lord Champa, then I must be able to at least obtain God Ki to deal with them. Noting that he doesn't have Super Saiyan 4, and he won't be getting it at all. Guys, I'm sorry about that. I know I'm seemingly teasing it, but he doesn't obtain that, but instead he goes over, and he actually commented to Vados and Champa that he needed a literal godly form, and that would probably be the only way they'd have two people that can keep up with those Saiyans in Universe 7. Or the literal threat that could be the strongest in Gods of Destruction guy. And yes, they have that one. They have that little like that freezes race on their team, and they have the whole hit thing on their team. But they're not enough. They're clearly not enough. So that same comment that they need more power. And he had those two things that Champa wanted. And he's training them to the point where they can both get into a Super Saiyan 2. Now, this tournament's going to still go the same exact way, only in this version being more help from Universe 6 than there was. In this version, Hit is the captain of Universe 6, and he actually said to me, and he ran over to Universe 7 and asked for a team-up. No one was against this, and they actually wanted to use that, but in the end, it took basically everyone from both universes to knock out the people, mainly just from like the Prime Troopers. None of them were much of a big deal except for like Dispo and Jiren. So Goku, he still knocked out their instinct. Obviously this is another thing he needed to obtain. And he actually wound up going to a Super Saiyan 3 kind of fury fight. And he actually wound up tackling Jiren, almost knocking him off the edge. Jiren didn't care about this. And Vegeta, in the blue, wound up basically tackling Jiren almost off the edge as well. Noting that Cabba was almost as strong as him, Cabba saying, soon I'll be more than that. Even overwhelming Vegeta with a brute force mode. Saying, Kale, play fluff. Both of them turning their heads saying, yeah, what? Give me your power. And they weren't out yet. Like, it was only, like, the only ones that were left were, like, the last few that were gonna fight. Like, there was Vegeta, Goku, Gohan, 17, which they didn't even know 17 was still there. Cabba, Kale, and Caulifla. They're the only ones left. They are the only 5 left, except for Jiren and Dispo. Dispo wound up actually having to fight Goku. Now, Goku basically said, switch! And this basically made it where Vegeta jumped in and basically tackled Dispo as Goku hit Jiren in the face. Now, Dispo, eventually, Cabba basically just kicks him off of there with his combined help from Vegeta. And then it was basically all of them versus Jiren. Now, I'm going to say Jiren Gohan goes into... Well, he has his ultimate form. He goes into ultimate form, and this is seen to be an almost equal form to Super Saiyan 3. So I'm going to say that as impressed as Cabba was, he said, nice. I'm not going after that one, though. It makes no sense for me. And then at this point, Cabba is just wailing on Jiren. Now, Cabba might not be that powerful, but he's very powerful in this version, so yeah. He's actually landing injuries to Jiren, while actually connecting a punch. Now, the only reason Hit was knocked off was, like, a fight with Jiren, so Cabba had that rage for, like, his friend to help back him up in this fight. And then Cabba yelled, "Give me y'all's power!" to Kale and Caulifla. And Kale and Caulifla jumped back, went in their full forms, and just give all that ki to Cabba. Cabba opening his eyes with a reddish aura. Now, he already had a slight... I'm going to say that he wound up doing that ritual with a few other Saiyans that were willing to help, like the ones from his team. And if they gave him God Ki, but he didn't have enough access to it. He could access it, but not at full use. Now, his hair giving off complete red, but something being off about it. He opens his eyes. It's Super Saiyan God, yes, but Cobb had an idea. As he kind of spit blood out of his hand, off his mouth, even going into Super Saiyan Blue for a second, which, using this form, he hit the floor and started tumbling once he had connected one punch with Jiren. Exhausted as this made him, he basically just went back down into 3, noting that he was basically done holding that god power he could hold for a moment. Vegeta being so impressed that it was even able to keep up with his blue, and even able to go into blue, which surpassed himself, telling Cabba if he kept training like this, he might be stronger than him soon. Vegeta seeing this to be the biggest compliment he could give. Now Vegeta, he gets knocked off here, sadly. Now, there is 2 people I'm saying that I'm going to knock off, and I'm hating to have to do this. 3 people, technically. So, well, technically, I guess you could say 4. So, Gohan, he bull charges right at Jiren with Vegeta, Cabba, and Goku. All 4 of them were bull charging, including Kale and Caulifla. Like, you had 5 Saiyans bull charging this dude. Goku and Vegeta said, "Y'all hit him. We're gonna hold back for a second so we can get a second wave." Now, they were basically fighting him as much as they could, but it wasn't working. Gohan and Cabba were the main heavy hitters. Kale and Caulifla weren't doing very great. But in the end, what happened was Kale and Caulifla wound up fusing, and Jiren wound up grabbing them by the head and just flung them down, just making them fall out of the ring and being completely out. The last thing Cabba did was say no. And the last thing they did before falling was just lend Cabba all their fused energy. And Cabba then stepping up as he saw that while Goku and Vegeta were taking a small breather because they were just completely down right now, the only 2 left fighting at this point was Gohan and Cabba. Now, Gohan was at the was powering up, was full power at this point. Cabba is as well, both in a Super Saiyan 3 amount of power kind of form. And they're fighting full on at Jiren. They're actually landing good hits, but eventually Jiren just grabs both of them and slams them down. And right when he's going to just try throwing them both off, Cabba hit him in the face with a blast. And Gohan said, "I'm taking you with me at least." Jiren grabbing the edge and just gripping Gohan's arm off and sending him flying down. As Goku and Vegeta have just barely gotten enough air to get back in the fight, the legend, not even Goku and Vegeta, well yeah, Goku and Vegeta, the legendary Jiren is barely getting back up too. Now, Jiren getting back up means everyone's out of luck. But Gohan thought he was suicide diving to knock this dude out, but it didn't work at all. Now, thing is, now that they're, completely seeming to be overwhelmed, Vegeta wound up going into Blue, Super Saiyan, Blue Evolution, and Goku wound up even hitting an Ultra Instinct. Barely. Same way he kind of had in canon. But an Ultra Instinct didn't seem to do very much. But in this Ultra Instinct, he was able to get Jiren into a good fight. As Vegeta jumped in, it seemed to make it where it was an even fight. Cabba being the final deciding factor to get Jiren completely off the ring. But they all went down grabbing him. And basically, it was going to be where Goku and Vegeta are sacrificing themselves, but Cabba said that wasn't going to happen because they didn't have enough force to take him off his feet fully. Last thing Cabba did was basically just wail him off his feet. But the last thing Jiren did was make sure they all came down with him, saying no one's winning this. But then 17 won it. Made the same wish to revive all the universes. Cabba coming back from being destroyed, he's saying, wow, being destroyed sucks. I'll power up more. And he basically went right into training. He is literally known as the GOAT. He's literally the GOAT level of power that no one can keep up with. Now, that means that he's so strong that no one can handle him. Well, most people in his universe. There's only 2 that can throw hands with him. And actually, make that 3 in his own universe that can throw hands with him. And that would be the God of Destruction, Champa, Vados, the angel that guards God of Destruction, and Hit, the 1,000-year-old, crazy, giantly powerful, crazy guy, who's literally the assassin that no one can handle. Now, these are the only people that can handle Cabba in a fight. And it's not even getting that crazy, yeah, but anyway, that's how we're ending this What If off. What if Cabba was overpowered?